The New York Islanders, new general manager Matthew Darche, placing Lou Lamoriello, and I think one of the first places to start statistically with this club that missed the playoffs last year, 500 record, 12th in the East, 23rd overall in the league. The special teams have been dreadful. Both special teams coaches were dismissed at the end of last season. Power play was 31st. Penalty killing was 31st. And when you add those two numbers up, it comes to 62. And that was the worst special teams index in the NHL. Let's talk about their ads. Picked up Emil Heineman and the 16th and 17th overall picks in the draft in the Noah Dobson deal. That was Victor Eklund, who was the brother of William Eklund, who plays for the San Jose Sharks. He's a right wing, and defenseman Kishan Aitchison also was selected with one of those picks. They also pick up David Rittich, goaltender signed as a UFA from the LA Kings, 1 year, $1 million. This is somewhat of a safety blanket in the event that Semyon Varlamov cannot return to form. He is expected to training camp this year. And the Islanders also signed Jonathan Drouin. 2 years, $4 million per year, coming out of Colorado. Let's hit the RFA UFA re-signs. We're going to start with the UFAs first. Kyle Palmieri re-ups 2 years, $4.75 per year. And Tony DeAngelo, 1 year, $1.75 million. But I think more intriguing are the RFAs that Darche was able to keep on board. First was Alexander Romanov, defenseman, 8 years, $6.25 million. So you'd have to think that he is being looked at as the top backliner on the Islanders. And they also re-signed defenseman Adam Boqvist, right wing Simon Holmstrom, center Matt Gakholm, and right wing Maxim Siplakov, who I thought had a pretty decent year last season, 2 years, $2.5 million. And the Islanders and Siplakov were able to come to an agreement before they went to arbitration. They lose Noah Dobson in the trade with Montreal to bring Emil Heineman in. And Mike Riley, as we mentioned earlier, signed as a UFA by the Carolina Hurricanes. So this is an interesting club, Neil, and you've seen so much of them over the last couple of years. They don't have a lot in their prospect pool. So it's almost what is what you get.
It's going to be a very interesting new look Islanders, because without Lou Lamoriello around there with an iron fist on every single syllable that's uttered in the building, and a new rookie GM, a whole new outlook, they're not going to be the team that started last season. They don't have Noah Dobson, who is clearly number one defenseman, and they don't have really anybody as offensively gifted back there as Noah Dobson. Romanov is not an offensively gifted player. He's a good backliner that get good defensively and can hit you and knock you out, but he's not a guy that you're going to put on the power play. Tony DeAngelo can play the power play, does play the power play, but he's not Dobson. He doesn't have the rocket that Dobson had or has, but he's moved on to Montreal. The other guy that they're going to really miss at the beginning of the season, at least, is Brock Nelson, who Lou Lamoriello traded at the deadline to Colorado. And so without those two power play players, Dobson and Brock Nelson, and a power play that was 31st in the league to begin with, they're going to have to do some miracles to make this power play be very effective. They still have Horvat. They brought in Jonathan Drouin, who really improved his game while with Colorado and has rectified his career after being a very high pick to the Tampa Bay Lightning, if you remember. And then Tampa Bay traded him to Montreal. And so you've also got the question mark of Matthew Barzal coming back from a broken kneecap. How is he going to be? Is it healed? Is he okay? Will he be the same? I agree with you that Siplakov had a good year. Holmstrom had a real good year for them. And if those two improve their trajectory and getting better, that will really help the Islanders. Anders Lee, the captain, fantastic season last year. I can't say enough about him. The way he played, he had a career year in my mind, but he's getting older. He's not going to keep going upwards. He's going to actually either stay the same or go down a little bit. And then you've got the question mark of Anthony Duclair, who took personal time off because the coach criticized him, or that was what was said. That's why he was taking personal time at the end of the season and never came back. So that's your forward group. And we've talked a little bit about their defense. The newcomer, the first overall pick, Matthew Schaefer, if he makes the team, which they probably will, we'll see after 10 games, because if he's still there after 10 games, he's on the team, because they're not going to burn up a year of his entry-level contract. We'll see what we can get out of him. That's an unknown for now. Anyways, everybody in the hockey world thinks he's going to be great and be your number one guy. Maybe he'll be the number one guy right away, like a Dennis Potvin, but we have to wait on that. That second pair of Pelech and Pulak are veterans that we saw last year along with Mayfield. We know what they can bring. It's not a great team. It's a team that's looking to the future, an organization that's looking to the future. They're not looking to the present. So the present has a lot of question marks. They certainly don't look like they're obviously better than last year. I don't think that they are.
I want to go back to Noah Dobson for a second, because folks that listen to the Atlantic Division Summer Cooler heard us say that we think $9.5 million was too much. There was way too much that the Canadians gave up in exchange for him in the deal that brought Emil Heineman in. Yet, you have shared with me in a conversation that we had yesterday that Dobson is still a significant loss for the Islanders, even though we don't think he's worth the money for the Canadians.
Look, here's my thing. There's 32 teams. So therefore, there's 32 number one defensemen. So Dobson is not in the top half of the league of top defensemen. He's not Adam Fox. Okay. So he may be 25th on the number one defenseman list. He's still taking them off the Islanders. They lose their number one defenseman. So even though Montreal, we think overpaid, they brought him in there. He's going to probably do real good for Montreal. He did have defensive liabilities for the Islanders, no doubt. Playing with this group, he had major defensive liabilities for them, but they have to replace him with somebody. They might think that Schaefer can do it right away. They might think that while Schaefer develops, they've got Tony DeAngelo there to be on the power play. But this group, there's no doubt that you're starting 25-26 without Brock Nelson and without Noah Dobson. I don't see Brock Nelson in this lineup, and I don't see the Noah Dobson in this lineup. And so therefore, my prediction or expectation is they're not going to be as good.
One final note on the Islanders, because Ilya Sorokin is certainly one of the finest goaltenders in the National Hockey League. But when Varlamov went down last year, it was goalie by number as to who would be the backup, who would get the odd game to spell Sorokin a bit. I think that David Rittich can be a real good addition to this club if Varlamov can't go. And if Varlamov can go, it certainly gives the Islanders a formidable 1-2 in that.
Yeah, if Varlamov can go, then David Rittich makes $1 million playing in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where the team is definitely, I'll make one prediction on the show. Bridgeport next season will have a better home record than they had last season.
I'm sure Rocky Thompson will be able to deliver more than 4 wins at home than what the Bridgeport Islanders had a year ago.
But as I said, this is an organization that's looking to the future. They're not looking to the present. That is obvious by the moves that their general manager made. They're going to have a new feeling to the organization now that Lou Lamoriello, Hall of Fame general manager, is gone, and young Matthew Darche is there from the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we'll see. What will we expect from Patrick Waugh? Can he get this group to overachieve? We talk about overachieving. It's really important. And the other thing is Patrick Waugh doesn't get off the hook on these poor special teams just because they fired the 2 assistant coaches that handled the special teams. It's the head coach's responsibility to make sure they have good special teams. He doesn't get off. So I want to see this season, how will Patrick Waugh fare? Now he doesn't have the iron fist of Lou Lamoriello upstairs. He's got the rookie GM. How is he going to handle that? And how will he get this group to overachieve? Because clearly, if they have any hope of making the playoffs, they have to overachieve.
How long of a leash does Waugh have with a new GM that did not hire him?
That is a good question that I can't answer, but I would expect that Patrick Waugh will be Patrick Waugh and try to walk all over Matthew Darche. But we'll find out as the season goes on.